Let me see. I would like to start off with a discussion of two words. The first word is atheist.
Okay.
This might be of interest to you.
We know that
Maybe a little bit.
Okay. I said might, the conditional.
For sure. What about the word atheist?
The word atheist, back in the Roman times, did not necessarily refer to someone who did not believe in a god, but could refer to those who believed in other gods. In other words, gods not part, or a god, whichever way, of the Roman panoply of gods.
I've heard that, and I've even talked to Christians who have said, if you're not Christian, you're an atheist, because there's only one true theism, and so if you don't belong to that theism, then you are an atheist. I've heard that.
Makes sense from like a, I don't know, weirdly
Solipsistic,
selfish thing. Mostly I've just heard if you're not, it's either of Jesus or of the devil. So I've heard Satanist more.
But the point is, when you get a fundamentalist Christian in, call him an atheist. Because that's what he would be to a Roman.
That will further confuse the issue. While it is funny to talk about, I think that would probably make my head cave in thinking about. Well,
I just thought that it's an interesting fact.
Yeah, absolutely. What's the other word you wanted?
And then you can also read, if it's interesting, read Plutarch's definition of superstition and what he has to say about it. And it has a rather disquieting resemblance to Christianity.
Really?
Absolutely. Open up a volume of Plutarch, find what he has to say. He has a whole essay on superstition and compare it.
You know what?
It's devastating.
Actually, so I do go back through the shows and I do my homework. I do. I said do. At least once after every show, I do listen to the shows, and I will pull that up. But this seems like something I'd be really interested in having a discussion with.
Yeah.
Would you be able to find a link to that and post that to our Reddit so that we can engage with everybody on it?
Yeah, I can certainly do that.
I'd really appreciate that. That'd be nice. That way we can all talk about it and get each other's feedback.
Okay. Oh, incidentally, speaking of that, I have a slight correction on something which I mentioned, a venial type of correction, on something I mentioned last week. Do you remember you were asking about the ether?
Yes.
Okay. It's in a book by Simon Singh. It's not a whole book in itself, but it takes up a good bit of the book. It's his book on the Big Bang.
Okay.
It takes up about a quarter of the book, and he goes into great detail how they disproved the existence. This is back in the 19th century.
Sure.
Of the ether, because you seem to be particularly interested in that.
Yeah, I am, and it's any time that we think that we have it, and it turns out that we were totally off. And I was having a discussion not too long ago with someone saying, I should be able to have with 100% certainty, information about a given subject. And I said, no, to be a skeptic, right? To say, I don't know, and to continue that, to be able to go, I'm open to new evidence, to constantly challenge what you know about the world and be ready to embrace what is true and to embrace if the evidence leads to something else, to follow that where it goes. So, I mean, I absolutely love things like that when you talk about something like the ether, because it's just one of those times when everyone went, yeah, of course, it's something that exists. Totally.
Yeah, and it turns out not.
But not at all.
The reason I had brought it up, as I mentioned last week, it's one of the few scientific proofs which are in the negative.
Yeah, I remember watching that callback. I was going to say, I mean, I'm not sure how accepted the ether hypothesis was. I think it was mostly to explain light traveling from stars, given that it had wave-like functions, and they knew that waves had to travel through.
Among other things, yes, that's true. But the point is, it was quite something, just proving, it just doesn't exist. It changed a lot of the physics of that time.
Yeah, Stephen Hawking brought it up in A Brief History of Time.
Yes, he did.
Yeah.
All right.
As I say, I know I'm digressing, but I wanted to clarify my statement.
Sure.
Yeah, no, it's
part
good.
of the book.
And this is actually, Eric's right. This is a great conversation on the Reddit, and I have been meaning to brush up on my physics, particularly since it's only a matter of time before physics proves God again. So
I need to brush up on my physics.
I'm considerably older than you. But when I was growing up, if somebody said he was a physicist, fine, he's a physicist. Nowadays, if somebody says he's a physicist, the term is pretty much meaningless because that whole field has exploded into so many specialties.
Well, I wouldn't say...
Do you understand what I'm getting at?
Yeah, I wouldn't say it's completely meaningless, but...
But fine, it's a start, but it doesn't tell you much because you then have to ask, well, gee, what is your branch? It really doesn't tell you that much anymore. Not as much as it connoted, back 50 years ago.
Yeah.
EJ brought that up because, EJ is, sorry about those pronouns. But, EJ is a specialist in orbital mechanics. Wouldn't that be accurate?
Yeah. Well, she's...
Aerospace engineering. Aerospace engineer is what I know. I would need to ask. That's the most I know about that.
Yeah.
Okay. But it's a highly specialized thing, and orbital mechanics is a part of aerospace engineering. It's a subset.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. That's the way it's not only, of course, physics, but it's the way everything is. It's highly specialized.
Yeah, I would agree. But as knowledge expands, it's necessary to get more specialized things.
Yeah, that's all that I was saying there. My other word, let me ask you a question. How many times does the word animal appear in the King James Version of the Bible?
7.
I got none.
I was guessing.
Do you want to make another guess?
143.
Oh, you're slightly off.
Wow.
Do you want the answer?
142, because if you go over, you lose. No, go ahead.
No, not Price is Right rules. Those are BS.
Go ahead, Robert.
0.
Really?
Ah.
Let me explain. May I explain why?
Slightly off is a comment you should explain more, but yeah.
Yeah. Okay, but are you interested in knowing why?
A little bit. I don't think I'd entertain
some other calls, and I feel like a lot of the things you've brought up. Sorry for talking over you.
No, go ahead.
A lot of the things you've brought up fit really well with the Reddit. I'm not sure if you.
Yeah.
There is a reason.
Go ahead.
The word was very rarely used at the time of the King James Version of the Bible, and even in the Tyndale before that, and it meant what the scientific version means now. In other words, man is part of the animal kingdom. Okay. It's only later that we got, mostly from the fundies, this dichotomy.
What dichotomy? I'm not
between example, using animals to refer to
human and
animal. That a human is a member of the animal kingdom.
Got it. Okay.
Yeah.
Huh. Cool.
It's kind of cool.
All right, man. Well, I think we're going to move on to the next caller, but
yeah, the Reddit.
Yes. We do want to interact on the Reddit. We do want everybody.
How do I get to the Reddit?
That's a great question.
Staff give me the instructions.
Yes, we'll put you on hold, but just for everybody else, you can go to reddit.com/r/talkheathen.
Mm-hmm. Okay, well, nice speaking to you, and I know you'll get the package to EJ.
Absolutely. Take care, buddy. Bye.
Bye.